everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the day may find you. Sounds like it is, it's snowing here in actually Denver, just so you know. Still freezing cold London. Cindy, sounds like a good time, huh? Welcome to winter. It's crazy. Wade's in the house. Always good to see you, Wade, man. Just make me smile. Awesome. Keith, good to have you here. I want to wish you a warm welcome. We're going to dive into today's Daily Creative Challenge, where we're talking all about, as you can see in the background, 2021 design trends. We did optical illusions. We did some fun geometric. We have done some geometric magic out. So that was our first one. And now we're going to get into some abstract psychedelic challenges. So this is the whole goal of these, is also challenge yourself with Illustrator and challenge yourself as an illustrator or designer to try just some different styles. So I think it's pretty fun. So Carol, it's 83 degrees. Where the heck do you live, Carol? Like, specifically put the address in the chat. Just kidding. Do not do that. So let's get this party started, as I like to say. And we do that by going to behance.net/challenge, Illustrator. That's just where I'm going to grab the file. You know, we're going to jump into this nice and easy like. What's up, Gus Martin? Good to have you here. As you can see, by the way, we've done quite a few challenges. Minimalist, blur and grain, blah, 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 blah. We did some optical illusion yesterday, which was like kind of like tricking your eye, just creating some cool spacey stuff, which kind of lends itself to this abstract psychedelia, making an ordinary illustration psychedelic using brushes and Recolor Artwork and a number of other things. So just go ahead and click that get started button. You can go ahead and grab this file, but really you could do anything. I just wanted to kind of give you something to start with, as you can see right here. So start somewhere, huh? Let's start somewhere with just this straight up just person's face. Nothing that crazy about it, but trust me, we're gonna make it crazy and a lot of fun. So that's the goal. Awesome. 34 degrees in Bradley Beach, New Jersey. Oh man. Muriel, good to have you here. If you're joining me elsewhere, thank you for joining me. Even if you're joining me elsewhere, that's awesome. I'm watching the behance.net /Adobe Live chat, just so you know. And here's the illustration, directions, and just be mindful of the layers, right? I typically like to lock down this first layer, right? This is just info, and then we have the illustration that we can play with. Really simple. We've already done like outlining, drawing, all sorts of things. We've already done all of that. So now we can just start playing with this. We can start playing with the colors. We can add a background. And I kind of want to point out what you can do in terms of selecting, right? I might consider going in here and seeing if I could just select all the grays. Now, I don't know if these are exactly the same gray, and it turns out they're not. But a lot of times, your biggest friend, one of your closest friends in Illustrator, is select same. Go to select same, and you can select the same fill color, stroke weight. I use this all the time because chances are you're not working on multiple layers. You just want to select the same fill color. It will select that same fill color. You could jump in and change that color. Again, it's not too crazy right now, but again, our goal is to have fun with this. If I do this with the ear, for instance, let's go ahead and grab this one. Just a simple example, select same fill color, right? It selects both of those, and then I can change it to something else, okay? It's gonna get worse before it can get better. You could always select an object and hit I for the eyedropper, and then jump over and ba-ba. There you go. We've sampled those colors. Now they're all tied together, okay? Let me show you something else when it comes to changing colors. This is hugely important because what I have in this swatches panel is these are global colors. I know they're global colors because they have a little notch taken out of them. It says, hey, you know what? If you change me, I'm going to be changed everywhere. So let's do that. We'll double click on it. You can see right here it says it's a global color, and I'll shift this more to the pinks, for instance, or yeah, kind of more into the pinks, whatever color you'd call that. Click OK, and then maybe I didn't have it selected. Maybe it wasn't that color. Oh yeah, I actually selected it. It was so slight I hardly noticed it. Let's do something more drastic, by the way. Let's make it There we go. Took a second, but changes it to orange. Global colors. So now you can select fills or strokes globally. You can change colors globally, because when we start dealing with all these colors and making something psychedelic, we're going to be changing the colors a lot. Hit I just to resample. We can jump in, throw in some, fun purple hair, something like that. Okay. So let's have some fun. We'll actually Google this. I'm gonna go ahead and add a new layer that's gonna be my background layer. So I'm gonna jump in there, add a new layer, right? I'll lock this first layer. We can name these if we want to, background, and then here's our foreground or face, whatever we wanna do. For our background, let's go beyond white because we wanna do something more than just that white. We'll just draw out a box, and here's our lovely color that we can play with, right? Already it's looking a little crazy, as we can see. Okay, so we're going to add a number of things to this. Oftentimes I'll have a background color. Again, you could always lock that down, add a new layer, just kind of be organized. I'm going to have some background elements that can be really fun, right? And now I'm going to show you some fun tools. Okay, you ready for this? By the way, she's looking really weird. I get it. Okay, can't wait to talk about colors and just get more into colors, but we're still kind of adding elements to this. We could add a number of elements to the background. We could take this face and kind of shrink it down, right? We can make her smaller, but she's kind of thinking about something, and we want her, maybe her mind to be blown or her to see something amazing, right? But let's just kind of add some background elements. And I want to show you what you could do. It's like, yeah, we can come in here. We could use any one of these tools. We'd use like the rectangle tool, right? And we can make, of course, a rectangle. We could turn that into a circle, zoop. But what you could also do is, rather than rounding those corners, hold down the Option key and click. Bam! We've just changed this to a chamfered corner, okay, which happens to also be right up here at the top, in case you don't remember to click Option or Alt key on a PC. But we changed this to, oh, I'm sorry, it's not chamfered. It's the inverted round. Chamfered is where you just chop it off. But I'm going to use the inverted round. Sorry about that. Take that, drag it in, and now all of a sudden we have a cool star. So this is more along the lines of what I want, right? We have our cool star. We'll make it a color. We'll have this circle, right? We'll grab another circle. We'll shrink that down, okay? And maybe change the color, and we can have as much fun with this as we want. Okay, I think I mentioned brushes. Let me just double check what I mentioned in the description. Brushes and Recolor Artwork. That's how we're going to tie all these colors together, and that's how we get to experiment with how this looks too, just so you know. But all I'm doing is kind of changing this a little bit. Right? I'm thinking, oh, it'd be really cool to cover this with stars and all that stuff, right? We know that would be way too much work, and I'm lazy, right? I think we've established that in the past. But what we will do now is let's throw another color in there, maybe white, yes. Right, we'll take all these elements and we'll turn them into a brush. Bam, drop them in there. We'll just make this a quick scatter brush. We did this the other day. So you should know how to do this. And if you're new here, hey, welcome. I usually drag these up and down, maybe pretty drastically, but you could always change this. Here's the situation. Do I want to actually rotate these stars? Maybe I don't. So I could just change that to fixed, okay? From there, we will just go ahead and click OK. Created that brush. We'll hit N for pencil. So here's typically our line. Selecting it now, and now we can go to right up here, that I made like so. So selecting it, let's take this size down, but it's adding these sparkles everywhere. If I double click on it, I notice there's a lot of spacing in between these. Notice how it goes clear up to 300. Let's just make it go to 100. Okay. Scattering is pretty intense as well. Maybe we don't want to scatter it as much. We want to keep it closer to the line. Okay, we can adjust accordingly. Click OK, apply to strokes, and now it's kind of more along the lines of just having that splatter everywhere. Yeah. Oh yeah, double click. I actually want to, I decided I want to rotate it as well. We'll click OK. Do this as many times as you want. Here's another tool that you might be thinking of, right? You might be thinking, oh, could you do something more with these stars? Let's take a star. Let's go. And what we'll do is we will turn this into a symbol. So window, symbols. I actually want to do this with hearts as well. I think that would be really fun. But I can make this star a symbol just by dropping it in there. Star, like so. We could make a heart, or hopefully I don't know if you're using something like Noun Project, but for my straight simple hearts, I'll use Noun Project, and I'll just grab a heart right here, copy it, paste it, boom, there's your heart, right? It's getting close to the Valentine's Day, so this seems appropriate. There's our hearts. Turn that into a symbol, right? Heart, there we go, done. Now let's have some fun spraying this as well. So this time, how's everybody doing, huh? I feel like I'm just yapping away and I'm not engaging. I want to hear how you guys are doing. Michelle is into it. That's fantastic. Killy, I'm having a good time. Right, this, now I want to make it even more random. I love having a line using the scatter brush because I can manipulate that line all day long. That's what I like about this. It's like, oh, this simple line that I can grab and I can pull, right? And I can adjust all along one path. As you can see, it's just one path is making all this stuff. But you can get even more random if you want to as well, like I'm about to do, because if I turn that off, we will go right over here to the lovely symbol sprayer tool, right? Again, it kind of seems like a brush, which I just used that brush term very loosely. But now we could go into, oh, sorry. We need to select our symbol. Oh, it's going a little slow for me, but right down here, this heart is selected. And now I'm going to select my symbol sprayer tool and I can click and spray those hearts like so. Okay? This is what usually happens. Well, guess what? You can change this all day long. So jump in here. We can go into the symbol shifter tool and start to shift those around like so, or kind of pulling those out and in, that sort of thing. We also didn't mess with the size, but could we mess with the size? Most certainly. Right in here. Symbol sizer tool, spinner if we want to rotate, strainer, a ton of tools, right? They all deal with this symbol tool. But I'll go into the sizer. If we want to take a look at the size, by the way, first off, if I click, I can make them larger. What if I want to make them smaller? Hold down the Option key, and it's going to give you that option. Like, think, oh, it would be nice if it did this. Then I typically hold down the Option key to see if it will, and sure enough, it will. Okay, but that's what I normally do. Brushes work the same way this symbol sprayer does. As I press the opening and closing brackets, I can just select that one, make it larger. Let's go up here to this one, make one that a little bit larger. We'll make this one a little bit smaller, right? And we can start to push these around. If you forget all this, just double click, and now you have all your options for your symbol tools, okay? So right in here, what I was doing? I was resizing, okay? Everything I was just saying, hold down the Option key to push symbols away or toward, right? You get the idea. And these, we could decrease or increase the colorization. Actually, I don't use this a lot, but I should try it. Hey, why not? Oh, I'd have to select a solid color first. So let's go into green, click OK. There we go. It's actually kind of changing its color. All good. Just kind of wanted to share that with you. Now you can jump in, push this content around as much as possible. Make this as strong as you want. The intensity, let's take it up to like 90. Now I should be able to really push these away and create that randomness. All right, you guys get the idea. That's fun. We're just having some fun creating a psychedelic look. Okay. Option key also helps remove symbols. Oh, nice. All right, Froja's like, hey, we get the idea. Move on, Paul. That's what she's saying. She's like, Paul, you're done. You're done. Move on. Move on, sir. enough of your antics as I continue to mess with this. But all right, people. A couple other things. I wanted to show some other tools because we're making this psychedelic stuff. We have these hearts, kind of very Valentine's Day-ish, right? We have, you know, brushes that we can make and additional items. What if I wanted to make a trippy, like, spiral type thing? Guess what? That tool is in here as well. So we could jump in right beneath the line, right? There's an arc tool, polar grid. I'm going to use the spiral tool. So we can jump in here and make a spiral. So you don't see it because that crazy background color. So let's set this up a little bit more appropriately and make sure the color of our layer is going to be a blue so we could see this. Click and drag. Here's our spiral. Okay. We can see our spiral like so. Okay. I can change this spiral if I want by holding down the command key. So here's my first one. Okay, looks something like that. If I hold down the command key, right, I'll push in and I'm getting more, a more tight spiral like so. Okay, into that, let's crank that up. Heck, let's give it a gradient, right? Let's play with maybe the thick and thin of it if we want to. And we can put this as part of our background, okay? Like so, just makes that continuous line. There we go, dropping that right there, just making something kind of trippy, and we'll see if that works, okay? All right, it's okay, but again, a lot of people don't know about these tools, right? We can get into some more of these because there's the polar grid tool. It's like, hey, I just want to start with some elements and I really want to start distorting them. The polar grid, in fact, for a lot of these, just double click on the tool, right? And now we can see, okay, how many concentric dividers, how many radial out from the center dividers are we going to have? We'll take this up to 8. We'll take this to 10. We're going to go big. Why not? We will click OK. And then let's just go ahead and click and drag out from the center. Oh, yeah, so trippy, right? Flip that. These are the lines basically it made, as you can see. Okay. There it is. Okay. Should be able to fill this. But not only that, yeah. That's roughly what I have. Let's just increase the size of this. It looks like a spider's web. It's not really working here, is it? You know what? Or is it? Maybe I want it to be more psychedelic. Well, let's make it more psychedelic by going right in here. Because we have these fun distortion tools. So take something ordinary. We want to make it look psychedelic. Go into like the warp, the twirl, the pucker, the bloat, all of these scallops. We'll do warp, for instance. We don't want this to look like a spider's web. Let's increase the size of this. But now I can push and pull like all of these and make it look like a time warp, for instance. Just something really psychedelic. I'm messing with these lines as I just clickily sort of scrub through this, okay? Like so. Still kind of looks like a spider's web that's being blown in the wind. And by the way, the colors are all off, right? That's okay, because that's exactly what's gonna happen. Right, we're gonna create a mess that's not quite gonna work, and we need to tie these colors together. How do we tie these colors together? We have these lovely hearts, we have a spiral, we have these other shapes as well, right in here. Let's make those a little larger. Like so. The goal is, you know, you have all these elements that you've made. Some might be in front of her, so let's paste her in front. All the colors are ugly, I think we can agree. Let's try to tighten them up. And let me just do this really fast. I want to have 2 spirals, because I agree exactly. Helena says spiral tool's better. Yeah, Helena, you are exactly right. It just is. go right in here. Give me 1 second. Cancel that, flip it with another color, something like that. Okay, you guys get the idea. Okay, let's select everything. Let's have some fun selecting it all, right? Let's try to make this look good. And by the way, I need to have more ins and outs. I gave you a bunch of brushes. And by the way, here's all these brushes right in here that you can play with. So I can decide, hey, you know what? I want to do something cool with her hair. And that was ultimately kind of what I was thinking of doing. Selecting like any one of these, right? This happens to just be Hue Shift 5. Why did I even call it that? I don't know. But selecting that brush, click and dragging, there is this cool sort of Hue Shift spiral brush that I can increase the size, but also I can make it pointy on one end. Okay? So I could think about adding a color. Since it's set to Hue Shift, I could do something like that. Am I blowing your mind? I hope I am blowing your mind. We could make her look like Medusa now, right? So many things to show you. It's gonna it should remember my last brush, but now I could do this crazy Medusa type swirls. Let's double click on the pencil. Let's make this super smooth so we get these nice smooth lines. Swirling in, you know, things like that. And again, we're just having fun. We have a Medusa lady. I'm not saying this is the best, but this is certainly fun to play with, right? Great thing is, these are brushes, right? What can I do with these brushes? Hey, you can switch them up at any time. And this is why I love Illustrator, right? You know what I'm talking about, Space Kitten. Coming in here, hey, I decide I want to use a different brush. We'll use this Hue Shift 2, clicking on it, and actually changing the everybody knows what I say when I do that. Changing the width profile, right? I've changed this entirely. Okay, you guys get the idea. We'd have a lot of fun with this. As I click on some of these others, we would kind of see what works. Ooh, that's nice. Let's change this again, just so it tapers out. Something kind of cool, right? What are we doing? We're making craziness, but we need to go into edit colors and recolor that artwork. Let's tie it all together. Let's go into advanced options. It says, hey, Paul, you did all this craziness, mister. What do you even think you're doing, huh? Sometimes I will condense these down just to 5 colors, right? Let's condense it down to 5 colors instead of having 50. It's already 1,000 times better, right? It's already 1,000 times better because I was using colors that were obviously different, but they had different tints and shades, and it didn't match up. And this already looks good. Okay, I can go from there, go into edit, and tweak this. Maybe I want to actually go more with teal, give her like teal hair and a red face. I could play with this all I want. I like her with kind of like maybe more reddish, maybe the reddish lips, something like that. She looks like an alien. I could unlock it and say, hey, you know what? Don't make her look like an alien, right? Bring her skin tone back. Okay. Same thing for this skin tone. You know what? Maybe don't make it look so different, right? And there we have, again, crazy Medusa lady. Super fun to work with, and you guys is awesome, right? So we're having so much fun today. Hope you guys appreciate this. And this is where this is at. It needs more work, but again, we're just having fun with brushes, shapes, and tying those colors together using good old edit. Recolor Artwork will save your life, okay? And let's not forget the brand new feature. I have time to do it. Let's do this really fast. I go out there, I type in abstract psychedelic art. Ooh, I'm really into this. Let's copy this image really fast, and be careful, don't be just copying people's stuff, because that's not right. But from here I can say, hey, you know what, for everything, you know, change the color of everything based on that photo. Recolor Artwork, here we are, color theme picker, clicking on there we go, clicked on that image, and it samples colors and pulls them in from there. I should be able to click and drag, and it will select a portion of those image, readjust accordingly, okay? So again, that's how you can use palettes from other places. As you can see, I'm just kind of drawing lines and let's just sample this area. Right, you guys get the idea. And you can always go into advanced options and try these color groups as well. Renaissance, grays, pastels, all that good stuff. Cool, but I like my original, so I'll hit cancel. And yeah, I think this is the one we will go with. Cool. So go ahead and export this out. Share it on Discord and all that good stuff. Thank you for joining me, Emma and Muriel. Everybody, Wade's in the house. Megan, thank you so much. There's so much we could do, and yeah, I appreciate you guys, and I encourage you guys to really push the limits of Illustrator, right? Just bend it to your will, right? And don't do drugs. All right, everybody, thank you so much. I'm gonna turn it over to the next live streamer. Thanks so much, everybody. We will see you tomorrow. Bye.